around the vaping industry for many years, and his passion to help people stop smoking shows in the products that he's been releasing. He was the marketing director for Innokin Technology, former CEO of Shenzhen Everzone Technology, co-founder and former CEO of Geek Vape, and now he's the CEO and chief designer for Oxva. He's designed more than 30 products in the last 4 years, including the Aegis series, the Zeus series, and many others. When Justin founded Oxva, he set the mission of the company to be the most trusted vape brand in the industry. And his goal was to help more people get rid of their deadly combustible cigarette habit. Justin and Oxva have passionately stuck to their beliefs and continue to make innovative, high-quality products with amazing flavor. Unlike some other vape manufacturers who release products week after week after week, Oxva only has 5 products. The Origin, the Oxva X, the Origin X, the Arbiter, which I just reviewed last week, and now they've turned the industry upside down again with the Oxva Velocity 2-in-1 kit. This is a 21700 mod kit that can be converted into a pod mod. Yep, you heard that right. It was designed to be a simple mod first and a pod mod second. Is this 2-in-1 mod going to be as revolutionary as the Arbiter RTA? Well, let's switch over and find out for ourselves. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this right here is the Velocity kit. Take a look at the size comparison. Here's the box for the Arbiter, sitting on top of the box for the Velocity kit. Pretty small. And here is the rainbow colored Arbiter I finally got in for my wife. Look at those colors. That is beautiful. That's gorgeous. I can't wait to get that built so that she can finally enjoy this. She's been taking mine. I've been using mine for the past week, and I love it. Got that running at 75 watts, and it drinks the juice, but man, does it fucking taste wonderful. All right, now what you're really here for is not this, but the Velocity. Oh, and if your product comes with nicotine, send it back, because none of these products come with nicotine in them. You have to choose to put it in there yourself, if that's what you want to do. All right, look at the side of the box. Takes 21700 batteries, 2700 batteries, or 18650. Realistically, though, if you're going to be pumping 75 watts into this thing all the time, you don't want an 18650. You're going to want to get the biggest battery you got, which is a 21700. However, if you don't own one of those yet, you could throw in an 18650. You're just going to have to change it a lot more often. Has a separately available RBA, which can do mouth to lung and restricted direct lung. Looking at the back, the specifications inside, you're going to have the box mod. There's an 18650 adapter in the mod. Comes with a Unit Pro cartridge, because prior to this, they were producing Unit Coil cartridges. However, if you've got the Origin or the Origin X, and you've got spare coils for it, they threw in a pod in here that will work with the older coils. So, 2-in-1 tool, we'll get to that. Type-C charging. Finally. And obviously a user manual. And there's the serial number, and there's the front of the package. So I'm going to get this thing ripped open, and let's see what's actually in the package. Wow. That is beautiful brown leather. How is this in size comparison? Well, let's take a look at the Aegis. Do you see the velocity? Nope, because it's skinnier than the Aegis. Do you see the velocity there? Nope, because it's skinnier than the Aegis. How about now? Do you see the velocity? Nope, because it's smaller than the Aegis Max 21700. Granted, it is just a hair taller. However, given the fact that you can remove this deck on the top and put in a pod, I think they have definitely accomplished their mission. Here is the 18650 adapter. This side is meant to be used for the positive side. So you can take an 18650 battery, slide it in there, and now we can power this device with an 18650 battery. Very simple menu. 5 clicks to turn off, 5 clicks to turn on, 3 clicks to get into the menu. It's in smart mode. You can put it into power mode or volt, and you can change the color of the screen. Right now it's green. There's red. There's pink. And this is a shortcut to get into changing just the color. Top button and the fire button. And we're back to the original green. I like it. It's about time they come up with a nice simple mod. Yeah, you know, they say that temperature control is great to have, but how many people do you know actually do temperature control on their first kit? Nobody. Yeah, later on, once you've gotten into the hobby aspect of vaping and you want to, you know, put some stainless steel coils in so you never get a dry hit, that's a great thing to be able to do. But I love the fact that this thing comes as a mod first. You know, I've got the Artery Nugget GT right here, and the dual 18650 mod. And I had to buy the adapter separately. That was a separate purchase. Why should you have to buy it separately? I think that all starter kits should come with the 510 adapter already in place. So let's throw on the Arbiter just to see what she looks like. Because a skinny device like this is obviously going to have some overhang for this tank. But I do think it looks very elegant on this mod. New coil? Yes. Let me turn it up to 75. Then let's give this thing a vape. Well, I can tell you for certain that the 18650 in here is not enough power to run 75 watts and expect to get the actual 75 watts out of it. So let's move up. Let's try a 2700 in here and find out. Look at the marking. Beautifully marked on the inside, and there is a little mark here that you can see that it's supposed to be the negative. But if they would have simply taken a little bit of white to mark that, it would be so much better than the way they have it now. All right. Yep, now we're getting 75 watts out of this. No shaky, rattly noises on the 2700 battery. So let's go and throw a moly cell in there. Yep, nice 75 watts. And with the Arbiter tank on there, it looks good. However, I did some digging. And Justin Lai, when he originally designed this, he designed a tank that can be utilized on here, not the one that comes in the box, a different one, that uses this Arbiter tank as a pod. So that you can have 10 mil of juice capacity with this device. And I sincerely hope that he releases that tank for this device, for the Velocity, for the Arbiter, so I can take this tank and put it into that cartridge and have 10 mil of juice capacity for the Arbiter. Because my only complaint with the Arbiter is that it drinks the juice. And I have to fill this thing up 3 or 4 times a day. But the flavor is still worth it. All right, enough gushing about this Arbiter tank, because the advantage of this and what makes this the perfect starter kit is it gives it to you for the end, well, more like the middle of your vaping journey. This is a kit that includes, look at that. I love when the box comes out that easily. All right. We have inside the kit safety instructions for the Unipro coil with the airflow ring and how to place it on here, and it tells you which way to orient the airflow ring. Align the ridges of the airflow ring base with the cartridge grooves until it fits. And they give you a tool to help you take off the top of that. Now, here is the tool that you are to use, and it just screws onto the top, and you're supposed to rock it this way to get out the adapter. That is pretty amazing. Now, if you know how to properly take off the adapter, you don't have to use the tool. I see some people giving this thing a bad review because you need to use the tool for this. Well, no, you don't. If you know the torque that you need to have to put on this thing, turning it sideways to get it out, you don't need the tool. You can take your tank off and set it aside, and now the base of this adapter is actually a stand for your tank. That's just ingenious. USB-C cable, and here is the Unipro cartridge with a pre-installed 0.15 ohm Unipro coil. Well, it's time to get this thing juiced up and try it out as a pod, because if you're a starting brand new vapor, you are going to be purchasing this as your first kit. So, the tool that they give you here allows you to have an easier time lifting the coil up. And just push it into the airflow chamber and give it a little pull. Here is the Unipro coil. This is rated 60 to 80 watts, 0.15 ohms, and if that is too much for you, then you can go and use this coil, which is set for 30 to 42 watts. It's 0.3 ohms, and the diameter of that one is smaller than the diameter of this coil that came with the tank. So if you have too much airflow for your taste, especially as a new vapor, then you can use a smaller coil to reduce the airflow and give you a little more restriction to mimic what it's like when you were smoking. All right, we've got a new juice today. This is Ruthless E-Juice Jungle Fever. I got this from Vape Society Supplies. No, they didn't sponsor this. Just a new vendor I figured I'd get some juice from. And we're going to give this new flavor a try. It's supposed to be pineapple, mango, with a little bit of citrus. All right, new vapors, make sure you take a drop or two of juice and place it on the top of your coil to make sure that the cotton is saturated at the very top. You will get your e-liquid to penetrate the cotton there. However, to prolong the life of your coil, make sure you always put a little bit of e-liquid on the very top of your coil, because that will be the most likely place for it to be dry. So, we take our coil, line up the edge so that the airflow adjustment is facing the ends of your pod, and there's a little tab that it needs to align with, and you can adjust your airflow like this. And once it's adjusted, it will be sitting in there protected so that it doesn't change. What a great idea! You want another great idea on this tank? The fact it has top fill. Amazing! You can clearly see the level of your juice inside it. Could they have made the plastic even more clear? Yeah, that might have been nice, but I think it might have taken away from the aesthetics of it. And unfortunately, the bean counters looked at it and said, you know what? You're going to have some tinting to this, or people are going to complain about having a clear tank on a sophisticated design like what is on this Velocity. Pretty cool. Well, while that coil is juicing up, how about we switch over and I'll show you the design features for the Velocity. is the Velocity. It's designed to be the smallest 21-700 box mod. And I'm sure that there are ones that are shorter and there are ones that are narrower. However, the original design was for it to be the smallest 21-700 box mod, and for it to be something that is comfortable and nice for you to hold in your hand. We'll see in a little bit if it met up to its expectations. All right. Comes with 2 different coil options, and also comes with a cartridge that you can use with the unicoils from the previous line of the Origin. All right, how about colors? What kind of color options are available for this? Well, let's take a look. We've got the brown leather, black leather, there's a gorgeous rose gold, a black marble, a gold ripple, and carbon fiber. Those are some really nice colors. And here's the size comparison. I was holding it up against the Aegis. Here's the Lost Vape, and here's an Aspire mod, 21-700 mod. And comparing it, the only thing that this mod isn't smaller on is the height. And that's because it's designed to put a cartridge on the very top. Here's the menu that we've already gone through. Here's their logo. Turning it on, turning it off. When you add a new coil, the resistance, yes or no, whether it's plus or minus, max power settings. Very cool. All right. I'm going to be right back after I get this thing some time to soak up. We can finally get our first vape on the Velocity from Auxfa. All right. Finally had a chance to let this thing soak up a little bit, and let's give it a vape and find out what it's like. Got the airflow wide open. I dropped the coil in here, and it's on the smart setting, automatically set itself to 76 watts. See how it goes. Wow! That's a lot of vapor production. But the flavor is amazing. Yep, and I really like that Ruthless liquid. What is it? Jungle Fever? Yep. Let's take a closer look at this right now. All right, so here we have the Velocity, and now I must admit that if you're a brand new vapor, this might seem like, you know, something that's really, really heavy on the vapor production. However, there is another coil in the box that lets you reduce that. And if you're looking for something that is mouth to lung, you're going to need something that's smaller than this as far as airflow. So like something like the Interceptor or the Vupu Vinci or the Vinci R. If you need something that's very restrictive, that may be a better option for you. However, don't forget that we have an adjustable airflow ring on the bottom of this that we can turn this thing down. And you can use it for something as tight as what you would need for mouth to lung. But you would definitely need to switch out and put the higher ohm coil in there, which would obviously set it for a much lower wattage. But if you quit smoking with something like the Interceptor, and you found that it wasn't enough airflow for what you would prefer to vape at, well, the Velocity's right up your alley. I have that with the airflow wide open, and you can cut the airflow back, and it does get a little whistly in spots. However, the production of flavor in this particular kit is the best that I've had, and I can't tell you how long. I mean, the only thing of that size that I had that was even close to that was the Vandy Vape Trident. The coils in this produced amazing flavor. But the Velocity from Oxva, it's just wonderful. So, popping the 510 connection on there with the Arbiter, I'm excited because this is going to be a fantastic setup for me to carry around. It's portable and it produces amazing flavor. And the nice thing about the way that this mod was designed, I can pull that rebuildable tank off of there and throw on something like this RDA, Twisted Messes Momentum. Get some juice out to drip. I can switch this over from smart mode to manual mode so it doesn't automatically change. I can bump this thing up and let's see what it's like running it at its max capacity of 100 watts. That is wonderful flavor at 100 watts using Twisted Messes Momentum. And look at that, there's no overhang for this dripper, for this RDA. Now, when you're running it at 100 watts, it is going to limit the life of this battery. But if you wanted something that was small and compact, this is going to do the job for you. And the top of this 510 connector was designed so you could take and remove this and not worry about the adapter coming off. That's the problem some people have had with the Artery Nugget, is when you go to pull a cap off of a dripper, the adapter comes off. This one will not come off unless you give it torque in the right direction to remove that adapter. And when you have it in a manual power mode, you are going to have to adjust it to your liking. But even at 65 watts, it's producing flavor. I understand why it automatically set it at 76 watts. That's what the smart setting is when you drop this cartridge onto the mod. And it works great. Even with the airflow wide open, that produces beautiful, warm, flavorful vape. So, I'm going to go use this for a while, and we'll wrap it up here in a little bit. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Oxfa Velocity. Smallest 21700 box mod, best starter kit ever. Well, all right. Here's the up and truth, straight up. All right. I love this thing. When I first got started vaping, I got started using, whatever clearance device I could get my hands on to get started in it, because there is a little bit of a jump to get into vaping, because you got to buy not only the mod or the kit, but you got to buy batteries. You need to get yourself a battery charger. You need to get yourself some juice. You don't know what flavors you want, so you're going to buy a bunch of different flavors. So there is a little barrier to entry when it comes into vaping. However, this device I wish was available right after I decided that, vaping works for me and I really want to get into it. What would I go and spend my money on? Yeah, the Oxfa Velocity would have been something that I definitely would have spent money on. Because right now, manufacturer's website is cheaper than all the other places. I normally can't see that happening anywhere else. It's $50 on the manufacturer's website. All the other vendors are 10% more for this device. Like, I understand maybe there's a limited supply of them, so they, figure the initial hype is why they're going to, charge up to $60 for this kit. But the manufacturer's website has it for $50. And obviously, when you get this, you're going to order a box of coils to go with it, so that means the shipping's going to be free, because the manufacturer's website says free shipping over $50. And it's $49.99. And you're going to buy a box of coils, and you might buy like a spare airflow adjustment ring for it, or I don't know. Maybe you are interested in getting the Arbiter to go and pair up with this, which is definitely going to be free shipping. Is it the smallest 21700 mod ever? Probably not. Is it the most powerful, most feature-filled 21700 mod ever? No. Go get the Odin DNA 250. You want temperature control? You want, multiple 21700 batteries in the same mod? Or even, get the smaller version of it. But if you want a simple 21700 mod that looks elegant, very elegant, very simple, the Oxfa Velocity is your cup of tea. What's my cons to this? Well, the pod that comes with this thing is supposed to hold 5 mils of juice. The only way it's going to hold 5 mils of juice is with a fresh coil. And I did this measurement 5 times to be sure. Got a syringe, got 5 mils of juice. With a saturated coil, it only holds just a little over 4 mils of juice, which leads to my second con. This coil in here produces amazing flavor. And for it to be able to do that and flow juice fast enough, it's got to have some big holes in the coil for where the cotton absorbs your juice. Now, one thing I tell people all the time is don't ever let your tank run completely dry of fluid, because you're going to start toasting your coil. You're going to start burning the cotton that's on the inside, because when that cotton fires and it isn't fully saturated, you're going to start to burn that cotton. If you start to burn that cotton, that means you're going to be more prone to dry hits, and it's going to burn out your coil faster. So, with only having 4 mil of juice capacity in this thing, and not wanting to let it run dry, as soon as you use 2 mils of juice, you got to put some more juice in there. If you really want your coils to last a long time. Flavor? Oh yeah. Flavor is definitely there. Right off the bat. Vapor production? Awesome. Can it chuck some clouds? Oh yeah. This is fucking amazing. It's a great deal. Is it the best of the best? The most innovative in the industry? Nah. But it is worth the $50. It is a hunky vape in my book. And when you compare it with the Arbiter, and you set the wattage to what you normally have it at, oh yeah. For me, this is my new all-day carry-along device. When I'm sitting at my desk, I'm going to use my multiple battery, my dual battery box mods. But if I'm out and about, yeah, the Oxfa Velocity with the Oxfa Arbiter RTA is my new all-day vape. Is it the best in the whole world? No. But it's the best for what I need. Maybe it is for you too. That's it for me. Have a great day.